Wolves tie 0-0 versus Burnley. Another disappointing tie. Um, 0 goals against Burnley and Norwich is just unacceptable. No matter how you spin it, you should be able to score against these bottom of the table teams. And it's just sad. It's just sad because you get excited with the Wolves. They start to lead you. They start to make you believe that this could be a different season. That they could turn it around. That they're getting they're getting results, and then they put these two stinker of matches against Burnley and against Norwich, and you're like, okay, like what can we realistically do this season? We have to, not get too ahead of ourselves. When the Wolves beat West Ham and they moved into like sixth place, they still hold six right now. But you were starting to think, okay, we got Norwich next, we got Burnley next, and then we got Liverpool and Man City's and Brighton. So it's gonna get tough. But with Norwich and Burnley lining up after we just have a very uplifting victory against West Ham, you start to think, okay, can we push towards top four? Like these should be victories. We should be able to just keep going up the table. You looked at West Ham's fixtures. They just lost to Man City today. You knew that they were probably not going to get too many more points. And the Wolves were playing Norwich and Burnley, so you expected them to, get more momentum, use the West Ham victory to momentum to catapult them up the table. And you would think that they would be going into this Liverpool match on Saturday with a lot of momentum, with a lot of excitement, with a lot of, positive things to build on. And unfortunately, it's the opposite. You just start looking at the roster, you start looking across, the starting 11, and you start to wonder who's going to score. If it's not Raul Jimenez, if it's not Huang, if he's not on form, if he's not finding like a lucky deflection like he did when he first started with the Wolves, and he's not at the right place at the right time, who in this team is going to put the ball in the back of the net? The Wolves, to their credit, they have the third best defense in the Premier League. That's great. That's awesome. But they have the third worst offense and the worst home offense. And it's getting hard to watch. It's getting frustrating. There's a lack of intent when the Wolves go up. When the Wolves try to attack, there's a lack of pace. There's a lack of urgency. There's a lack of ideas. It just seems like the Wolves are very comfortable just kicking the ball side to side. And no one gets the ball on their foot and tries to go at a player, try to take a player on. And that's upsetting. It's upsetting that Raul Jimenez is not the Raul Jimenez he was before the injury. It sucks, but he's not. It's upsetting that Silva hasn't developed, that the Jota transfer some didn't get invested better. It didn't get invested in a player that was going to impact the team. It didn't get invested in maybe in a couple squad rotation players that could, add something to the team. It got invested in a 17-year-old that's not ready, and we don't know if he will ever be ready. You hope that Silva could finally turn it around when he's 20, 21, or 22. He's still very young, so nothing against the kid, but like Wolves, us as Wolves fans, we want results. We want Wolves to put a good content on the field, and it's just not happening. And Adama Traore, he has those contract, extension talks that don't seem to be going anywhere. I used to be one of the people that would say like we can't get rid of him. Like he's generational talent. Like you see that speed, you see how he dribbles, as he evades tackles. Like we need him. But that was like the old days. I'm still like enamored by those days when you would see Adama Traore go down the touchline and give a pass to Raul Jimenez, and he would finish it. And it seems like those days are over. Raul Jimenez is not the same player. Adama Traore's last touch has gotten worse. I thought it couldn't get worse, but it looks like he has no final product. Today he should have definitely played on Raul Jimenez. Easy tap in. I think Raul Jimenez finishes that, and it's a whole different game. Burnley can't just sit back. They got to go look for the game. They got to go look for the tie. And Wolves could get them on the counterattack. Instead, Adama Traore goes on his own, gets close to scoring, hits the crossbar, and then it goes away. And that was the clearest chance that the Wolves had all game, and it's frustrating that was the best chance. It's frustrating that Adama Traore could have played. Raul Jimenez, obviously he hasn't scored and assisted in 15 games. He's probably frustrated. He probably just wants to score. He probably wants to score to show Wolves that they should give him a higher contract. I don't know, but he should have definitely played on Raul Jimenez, and it just looks like goals are not coming from the front three, from the midfield. Dan Donker coming in for Neves. Like, there needs to be more pace in that midfield. Having Moutinho and Dan Donker in the midfield, it was so lethargic, so slow. It's frustrating to watch. Another frustrating thing from this match was there was no urgency. Like, Wolves are at home. You see Bruno Lage getting the crowd pumped up, trying to get the support up, and they add 4 minutes, and you can see the 4 minutes coming to an end, and the Wolves Centerbacks are just kicking the ball in the back, just happy, just content to kick the ball from one side to the other. All right, if no one's gonna, if when the ball gets to the flanks, none of the wingbacks, none of the wingers are gonna try to attack and maybe take on a player, like, at least give it to the center back and just launch the ball to the top. Don't just waste time doing nothing, kicking the ball side to side. Like, it hadn't worked all game. It didn't work at the end, and they just literally killed the last 2 minutes just with nothing. The keeper, the Burnley keeper, didn't really have too much to worry about, and it's just frustrating because I did a video after the West Ham victory, and I was like, I don't want to get too excited, but Norwich, Burnley next, like this is looking good. We could potentially push top 4 or get ourselves in a comfortable position to at least finish in a European spot when the season is over. But now 2 points out of 6 against Norwich, against Burnley, it's unacceptable. 2 teams that are fighting for relegation, like, that's just it's sad that we can't muster better games against these teams. And now Liverpool, they're playing probably the best football in all the Premier League right now, come to Molineux. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, disappointing result against Burnley, disappointing result against Norwich, and we go again on Saturday.